Hey everyone, welcome back to another week of Unreal stream, Unreal development, game production, that kind of thing. We have a lot of stuff planned today. It's going to be lots of things. I'm a little bit like overwhelmed in my head what we're covering today. But anyway, it's great to see Sarah's here. Way to go for showing up first, even before the streaming announcement. And Dave's here. All right, welcome you guys. Glad you made it. Okay, so today, the plan that I have is we have to keep going with the facial poses for the face rig. I have managed to get the iPad Pro last week and showed up. It's actually very fun, very cool. I don't use it very much because it doesn't fit into my world of necessary tools. However, it does have a lot of fun features like AR and the facial recognition stuff is a lot of fun. Hey, Sean's here. Welcome. So we definitely are getting close to doing some real-time facial capturing. I have not tested anything. I am very far from that stage, I think. Well, it feels like it anyways. But we're going to try our best to see how close we can get. Yeah, the iPad finally showed up. It did take a while. And then what's hilarious is as soon as I received it, I found an article on my email that says, never buy iPads in January. I'm like, what? Of course, I have to read that if I see that. And it's like, apparently all the new iPads come out in March. And they're like, nobody buys iPads in January. That's just dumb, because you would just be buying the old version before the new version comes out. Clearly, I was not aware of this. I don't even care anyways, but it's just hilarious how I like got to read the article right after I received my iPad. It's like, never buy an iPad in January. That's dumb. Anyways, so I totally bought an old generation of iPad, I guess, because it's going to be a new one. Actually, I think they say that the new one's going to have a new processor type, and I'm sure it's going to make me really jealous for not having it. But this one's actually pretty good. It's pretty impressive. Works really well. Sean says the AR stuff is impressive. One of the reasons those VTubers started to become more of a thing now. I didn't know there was such thing as a VTuber. Unless you meant to write YouTuber. But I don't know what a VTuber is, to be honest. Virtual reality tuber? Is that what that means? It doesn't surprise me. The AR stuff on that, yeah, on the, just on this Pro is like, on the iPad Pro, it's just amazing. It's so clean, so fast. Obviously it's not perfect, but it's still like so much better than every time I've ever used anything that's AR based. It's just that LiDAR detection really works nice and clean, and the processing power is fast enough to handle all the graphics for it. So it's very cool. Anyways, we will transfer over to what I'm working on right now. And it's basically the facial poses that I was still working on last week. A lot of my time was spent working on getting the scripts right and getting that workflow. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. John says, yep, virtual tubers, basically. They just real-time mocap on 3D characters. Okay, well, that's exactly where I'm heading with this. I didn't realize it was a thing that was... I know it was a thing, but I didn't know it was a thing that was like... They're called VTubers. But yeah, that is kind of where I'm heading with this, in a sort of a fun, lighthearted way, because, you know, it's just going to be, what can we do with it? But it is, I guess, in a way, R&D for lots of other potential stuff down the road. I also found out that Skull Chaser is a comic book character, and it's possible that you guys had told me this before, and I didn't catch on, or maybe I just didn't fully appreciate it, maybe. And so I found out as I was telling people about it. I was like, oh yeah, I'm using this skull. I think it was just a screenshot. And they're like, is that Skull Chaser? So apparently it's pretty popular. It's kind of a cool character, and he's got a whole world and an atmosphere and, you know, explanations as to why we have this bizarrely huge gun with this strange strap. So lots of cool things going on here that I had no idea I was getting myself into. I'm pretty sure there's not a copyright issue because I didn't make the rig, and the rig was sold to us on a website, so I'm assuming that it's okay. I don't know. Either way, it's kind of fun. that I'm getting to work on a character that has a lot of style, a lot of character, and you know, it might lead into something fun to do later too. I mean, these are awesome vehicles and explosions and stuff, so who knows? Who knows where that's gonna go? But you just slap fan mode on it. Okay, awesome. That's all I have to do. Sounds good to me. I'm willing to jump on that one. But yeah, if we can get this guy to be talking and stuff, I mean, it would be kind of fun to be, people would be like, hey, it's that character and he's talking. So that was a bit of a bonus. So what we were leaving off with last week was we were talking about how to make a script for the, making the mirroring easier. And sure enough, it was pretty critical that I made scripts for it because it was becoming extremely tedious. And a lot of these things don't mirror very well, as I discovered. So if I mirror this joint over to this joint, it needs a negative axis on rotation Z and Y or something. But the translates are fine. But then if I mirror this joint and this joint, then I think I got to mirror the rotations and I have to mirror all the translations as well. So there's like different rules for different joints, and it's, I mean, it's not, it sounded terrible. I was like, oh my goodness, how is this going to work? But it's supposed to be just the lip controllers are one set of rules, and all the face controls otherwise are a different set of rules. So it did require me making a couple different scripts to handle it. Let's start with the explanation of what's going on. I put it up on the library channel for Maya scripts, and then I realized nobody's in the channel for Maya scripts, so then I made it so it was part of another group. So now there's a lot of people in Maya scripts, but I just posted it in here, and so anybody can grab it. But you can see it does a little bit of, you know, multiplying by -1, multiplying by -1. So this is a script that works for the lip joints, but it doesn't work for the other joints. So but it's easy. You just keep putting this multiply by -1 into the positions X, Y, and Z, and you could make it into whatever. This would maybe be a good excuse to make like an interface that has little check boxes and says, you know, invert such and such and such, so you can get it to work. That might be useful. Sarah says, laugh out loud. Oh, is that what that invite was? Oh, for the new channel, yeah. I also made a new channel just like 15-20 minutes ago for virtual production, which is kind of fun. So we've got now a virtual production channel where there's an article somebody put up for the pros and cons of compositing with virtual production, and it obviously ends up being positive. And then also Unreal dropped a few new courses, and one of them was virtual production courses. That just happened like 2 days ago. So very new courses from Unreal that will probably be working into our curriculum or integrating somehow once we get a good sense of how we're handling all that stuff. So very cool stuff there too. John says, gosh, so many new channels. Thanks, Simon. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, this is everybody's channel. So this is like a ridiculously large amount of channels that hopefully, you know, you don't need all of them. So when you get added to a channel, it just adds you to the ones that are relevant to what you need to know. So, but yeah, I am a little concerned about the overwhelming amount of channels that people get. So let's talk a little bit more about the scripts before I get moving on here. So we've got a bunch of icons that I created for different types of ones. One thing that, like, this is basically the simple essential button that does exactly what I just talked about. Flips it. I actually got the negatives in the positive and the XY just because that's how I'm making the cheeks and stuff work. But what I've done is I've made one that selects big chunks of the face, so like the right half of the face and the left, so that I can zero it out. Tara asks, how does all that information stay in your head? How do you defrag your brain when it's full data? I think I'm having that fragmented brain problem, especially just before the stream, as I'm like trying to figure out what the heck I'm gonna cover for this stream here. I've got so much stuff going on right now. Sean says, I need a new SD card. Restream bot, new SD card. Um, it's too much for one person to ever, you know, comprehend all this stuff, and that should be a lesson for everybody. You know, it's just, you don't have to know everything. You just have to know what you need to know. And I'm kind of going out on a limb with how much I'm trying to know, because it helps students, but I don't really know anything that deep. I just know surfaces of a lot of stuff. I do know animation a little more than the other areas, but it's a lot of stuff that's changes every day. So anyway, the other scripts that I wrote were these ones. I mean, I didn't really write them. It's just, well, I guess I did, but they're not really that complicated. They're just basically selecting controllers that are like selecting them just like you would when you select things in the world. And then it's running a function, or a procedure that they call it in here in Mel, that does the flip that we have. So it just keeps running the same command over and over and over again. And this one does, there's two of them. There's this one that flips the lip joints and this one that flips the cheek joints. So just by running that, it'll select and run that on every single pair. And I've carefully picked the pairs. So it took me a while to kind of build that up. But, you know, rather than making a script that automatically finds the joints, you just literally just going, oh, there's the joints. In fact, all you have to do to make that work is inside of your script editor, you can see I've got some other ones that I just did. You just pick the two joints. I pick this one and then I shift select the other one. There it is. That's all I need. Just copy that, put it into the script, and it selects it just like you just did, and then runs the function, and then selects the next pair and runs the function. So it's just doing the operation over and over again. And so that's saving me a lot of time, because now I can just kind of make a one side pose, it mirrors over to the other side, and then I just pick half of it and zero it all out, and I'm ready to roll. So the other thing I found that was really cool, I didn't know about this I think this started up in 2017 or something, these bookmarks. I never really understood how to use them or what they were for. But now I found out they're actually perfect for this, because they will, they're called bookmarks, and they just allow you to like label a frame. And when you mouse over it, it'll tell you what it is you want to talk about. So in this way, I've called it the name of the target and a color, and I edited it. So I've got all these different targets ready to go, which was really good, because I was getting really confused in terms of what the heck was going on anymore. You got all these keys and all this stuff, and you're just like, I don't remember where this was. And what I'm discovering is that the Apple page is, they have the targets we're supposed to do. It has a lot of them that are very similar. We have at least the last 4 that I did. Mouth left, and then we have one that's called mouth smile left, and then we have mouth frown left, and then we have mouth dimple left, and I think the final one is mouth stretch left, and they all look almost exactly the same. I don't know what the subtlety is and why they need to have so many that are the same. Sarah says, "Oh, how to get to see these bookmarks?" So all I did was I created a new bookmark by doing this, and it said, you know, make something, and then all of a sudden it displayed the bookmark channel here. You can hide them. Where did I see that? Unframe? No, I don't know what I'm doing right now. Oh, that's weird. There's something in here for bookmarks. Well, oh, there it is. Show bookmarks. That's what it was. You can hide bookmarks and then show bookmarks. So it's something that you can turn on and off. I have never seen that feature or needed it before, but it is super useful for when you're doing face targets like this. I personally am noticing it would be awesomer if I could like even extract the name that I've written in there and put it into an exporting process or something. I don't know. I mean, there's potential that you can write a script that extracts it and puts it in there somehow. But like if you're doing blend shapes or something, for example, maybe that might be really helpful. I don't know. I'm not sure. Just something that came in handy right now. So what I have to do is continue making more face poses. And then when we're finished doing that, I have to figure out how to put the face poses into Unreal in a way that works, where you have joint-based poses instead of morph targets. So those are two very difficult things I have to do, and then we have to figure out how to get this stupid iPad to like talk to it. It's just like me and Apple are, you know, we're not the best of friends at times. So I'm sure it'll be a little bit of a struggle as I try to figure it out. Actually, to be honest, my experience with Apple has been pretty good so far. The only problem is they want to keep asking you to put your credit card in, and I refuse to do it, especially with like a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, because I just imagine terrible things happening. But it's got all this like facial recognition, so that, you know, you can say, "Is it you?" Then it checks your face and then sees if it's okay. I mean, anybody who owns an iPhone is probably like, "Yeah, it's been like that for a few years." But for me, it's like, that's pretty cool. It's actually working. Okay, so we're gonna jump back over to our boring page where we do our targets are from Apple, which are from ARKit, and we're gonna keep going. But I'm hoping that I've gotten through a lot of the boring ones, and I think what's gonna happen is when you actually get this to work, there's gonna be a lot of back and forth, because some of these poses are really like subtle. Like I can't even visually see what the point of the difference is between mouth stretch left and mouth dimple left, except for, you know, obviously you're supposed to pull it in more, and stretch maybe goes a bit further back, but on this character they almost look the same because there's just so much subtlety between it. Sean says Apple is like that kid you get in touch once in a while. Like a friend you know somewhat well. Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh hey Apple, what's going on? I really haven't ever really had a, well, I think we once upon a time, a long time ago, we had a really old iPhone that we bought used, so it was like old even when we had it. But otherwise I've been pretty distant from Apple. Okay, so we're gonna have to make this one still. This is the most stretched. This is the last 2 targets that I created. So we're just gonna try and go through. I'll show you the some of the process that we do, where we so what was it again? Sorry, most stretched left. So yeah, like what is this? It's like not quite frown, not quite dimple. It's like pull back and down. It's kind of like a frown, but pull back frown. Sarah says, I hate the fact that I love my old hand-me-down iPhone 6 and my 2012 MacBook. Yeah, see, you're on the bandwagon and you enjoy it, so it's good. I mean, if you get used to what you're used to, right? And then that just becomes your comfort zone. So I can't really blame anybody for liking Apple. I mean, it's equivalent to Android. It's just, I don't like the fact you have to pay like 3 times more than you're supposed to for it. It's usually my biggest complaint. Hand me down, there you go. Alright, so we're gonna bring it in and over. So I'm only gonna work on the right hand side, or I guess his left hand side, the side it's supposed to be done. And then I'm gonna mirror it over. So we're gonna try to pull it in. These other controllers out here are pretty good for like giving that dimple effect. Stupid, continue. And then and there's a lot of subtle controls here, but it's not extremely intuitive because it's like, what am I moving exactly since it's a skull? John says Apple is really efficient, but just too boring for me. But if I had a choice, a Linux phone would be the dream. Ah, yeah. Well, that's interesting. Now, Sean, are you actually using Linux on a regular basis? Like Linux computers and stuff? Are you familiar and comfortable with the Linux interface? Because I feel like that's a rare thing. And also, I'd say it's an impressive thing based on my limited knowledge of Linux. It is It is hard work. but also really helpful. So I don't know, it's a weird conflict there. Because it's like they got some really nice like ways that you can install things. I mean, I'm used to the command console because I'm working on servers and stuff, but I'm not I don't really have much experience with interfaces. Well, I tried to get a server running with an interface of Linux, but it was a disaster, to be honest. I consider myself a tech savvy, but I failed miserably. Sean says, from time to time, I use a VM for Kali Linux virtual machine and pop O's on this near dead laptop. That's useful. But then just learning to use the terminal alone was fun. There you go. Well, geez, man, if you actually enjoy the process of learning terminals, then you and scripting worlds will collaborate nicely together. I think my biggest problem is just being an artist who needs like all these specific softwares. I've never really had a good argument why it's justified to own a Linux server, Linux operating system, and so I'm always been like, I don't know why I'm doing it. Although I tried it on my server machine. That's why I gave it a go, because I was like, oh, this is good, lightweight machine. Maybe I'll be able to get some optimal processes, you know, make most efficient use of its limited processing capability. But man, oh man, it's just filled with all kinds of problems, and then I screwed it up somehow. I don't know, I updated something, or I don't know what happened, and it was like totally messed up. And I'm like, I just spent a lot of time to end up messing this all up. And then I was like, I'm not doing this again. I'm going back to Windows. Sean says, you failed as a tech savvy. I don't know, man. You're dropping knowledge and info regularly. Oh, that's good. I thought you were gonna bash me for like not knowing how to use a Linux machine. Thanks, Sean, for saying I'm knowledgeable. Appreciate that. I try. I am only really good at the one area that I practice, though. So just like everybody else, I guess. You put me in front of like a totally foreign object, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. But I do enjoy trying to figure stuff out. It is fun. But yeah, you can really waste a lot of time. Some people like watching movies. I like banging my head against the wall, trying to figure out a useless problem. I don't know what that means. Alright, so I'm going to try and get this to be ready so that we can get that to be back and in. Basically, that's what it's doing. Oh, wait, what's this other controller here? What are you doing here, buddy? Wait, I can't even select it, so I don't know. Maybe it doesn't actually exist. Alright, so I'll show you what the scripts do here. So I'm going to grab the facial rig, all the controllers that I may have moved. I'm going to middle mouse click, drag it over to 155, hit S so that it's the same pose on both frames. And then I go to the second one, because that's the one that I want to be replicated on the left. So it doesn't matter if I mess with this one, I still have the 150 preserved. And then I'm going to run the script that mirrors the lips from left to right. So now the lips are matched, and then I'm going to run the one that matches the jaw. You can see the jaw moved a little bit. So it just went and picked half of it. Or no, it picked one at a time. It was like this one, match. This one, match. This one, match. That's how it did it. So now I've got both sides mirrored here. You can see it changed a little bit. So then I have to go and pick the left half, which I have here on selection. And then I just zero out all the controls. So it goes back to its default pose. Now we have left and right working there. Hey, Gav's here. Welcome, Gavin. Linux was my own personal hell. Driver hell. Gave up. Yes, driver hell. There you are. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Man, oh man, to get anything working. Your mouse? Oh no, sorry, you have to install a driver for that. My mouse? Give me a break. Though I have a few strange mates that use it because they think aliens are coming to get them through Windows. Something like that. Right, see? You can't trust Windows to a point where I'm like, I'm willing to sacrifice all comforts so that I can have an open source operating system. Sean says, now I get that feeling too. Sometimes I just wanted something catered to just what I need, especially for animation and stuff. Ah, yes. But I get that Linux is not a fun process for a lot of peeps. It's awesome, but I wouldn't recommend it to someone whose work or just daily use requires a convenience factor. Yeah, exactly. Like if you have a deadline, like you just get it working so I can get the job done. Sean also says, if I had a choice, I would go with full Linux, but that's not possible with all the applications that I would need to relearn just to make it work. Yeah. I mean, if you're just using it for like web browsing or writing documents or reading emails, I mean, you can just, you know, out of the box install a version of Linux and get it working. It does fine. But as soon as you need like Photoshop program, which I guess you can use GIMP or something, and you know, Maya, Unreal. I mean, these programs probably work, but like, and then you need like, I don't know, plug in your phone or your tablet or plug in your headphones or your microphone or whatever, and it's just like, oh yeah, just take that for granted that it'll just work. Or the fact that like, you know, the microphone uses software that just isn't compatible, and then you're on a different operating system. John says, I want to get into GIMP. Oh, right. Photoshop software. Open source. But I can't. I just can't. Is that because it's really weird software to get used to? I heard like GIMP is always like, what? They've moved it in weird places. Why is it so strange? I have tried to use it for students who like said, do I really have to buy a Photoshop license? I'm like, no, just use GIMP. And then we're like opening it and we're looking at it. We're like, yeah, so you just have to, you know, do it this way. And I'm like trying to figure it out, going, wow, why is it over here? Yeah, comfort zone with Photoshop. I'm in the same boat on that one. Although I don't even use the Photoshop that much, but if anything I need to do that's like semi-Photoshop related, I'm like, yeah, I just want to get it done. I want to sit there and relearn new software. Alright, so I just created a new pose. Make sure that I'm back to default again for my next pose. So we just finished 2 of them, which is awesome. Sarah says, I learned GIMP before I had Photoshop. Ah, see, that's the smart way to do it. John says, or you could get Photoshop cough cough through non-conventional means. Cough cough. Yeah. It's, there's always that option. Save yourself some money. That's not really an option that I get to tell my students, so it's like sort of unprofessional, maybe. But you know, as long as you say cough cough, then you're cleared of all issues. Sarah says, but now I use Photoshop. Can't imagine using GIMP again. Ah, see, that's interesting because that means that you actually got to see both sides of the fence. It does have a good name. Yeah, right. It's a great name for state of appreciation. And then Sean says, I am in no way advocating for something else. See, there you go. That's how you do it. Alright, so 2 new poses. What are they going to be? Oh wait, I got 3 new poses here. Let's jump back to our thing. Let's keep moving along. It'd be really cool if I can get this finished within the hour. Stretch, stretch. Mouth roll lower. Mouth roll upper. Mouth roll lower. Mouth roll. Mouth roll. It's just like a pressed. Didn't we do a pressed already? Mouth roll lower. Oh, it's only the bottom lip, so. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so it's not a one that I have to mirror anymore. But another reason why that script is so useful is because I know I'm going to come back to this and have to make fixes, so it is really nice to have that knowledge that when I come back, it's not going to be super painful. It's going to be like, okay, just get it done, make the subtle change, mirror it up, and then send it back off again. Let's see what the results look like. That's kind of what especially when I was working at Rocksteady, it was like, it was back and forth constantly. You just have both programs open, just constantly import, export, import, export. Trying to like try out different ideas. Alright, so I don't know, this might just be a straight up rotation. I may not want to actually translate it anywhere. It's like a slight correction pose. See, now the problem is I've got this mirror control, but it's not set up for lips. Alright, what does that look like? Lower lips in. Alright, let's do it. What we got? So, oh, I forgot to label that one. Let me label that. So to make a bookmark, you just edit it. Oh wait, you have to create one first. I'm just gonna click that button at the bottom to create it. We're gonna call it mouth roll lower, and I'll just make it something else color-wise. Now we're gonna do mouth roll upper. It's just the upper lips, same story. John says, oh yeah, Simon, that iPad will probably be the best bang for your buck now. Oh, really? Considering Apple will eventually remove the charging port in the future. They're gonna remove the charging port? What? Don't you kind of need a charging port? Or is it gonna be like contactless charging? It seems like a rather bold move. I guess you can make it waterproof if you do that. You'll have to let me know what the story is on that one, because I actually don't know. Okay, got that pose in there. I did find out that it seems like they're likely going to make the new iPad with was it A2Z or something, some sort of internal processor that they have now instead of using Intel's, and it's supposed to be pretty fast based on what I've seen. I'm not really sure how speed would really make a big difference for me right now, unless of course I was trying to take on some really complex AR thing, I guess. Maybe that would make sense, that speed would be useful. Sean says probably iPhones now have that MagSafe charging thing. Still rumors, but not surprising. Apple is serious about that wireless future. Ah, I see. Oh yeah, that's true. I mean, it really is like, it's the only port that actually matters. Like it comes, I got the pen, which this pen is like $190. It's like, what? $190 is Canadian, of course. like what, $2 American. But yeah, there's no other. There's just holes for speakers and stuff. It does have a nice speaker system for iPad. I'm impressed. The quality is really good. $190. I think it's after taxes, but maybe it's plus. I forget what it was. I just was like, whoa, what's this $190 thing? And I'm like, oh my goodness, that was the pen. I like how they keep it so that the prices are never visible. It's like, just ignore that you spent this much money on this. And just put that aside. You're like, ah, great. It does have like probably a nice battery, like a lithium battery, and it's got probably some fairly fancy technology, but $190. I mean, I would be like seriously questioning anything else that was $190 and that small. But I don't know, when you buy it for the iPad, it's like, oh yeah, no, let's just put that on there. Okay, what's the next one? Lower roll upper. Oh, I forgot to label it, but mouth shrug. Mouth shrug lower. Is that what we were calling that? Weird. It's like a push up. Man, these are subtle poses. John says, I know, right? Tim Cook's magic trick. Yeah. Upsell the accessories. It is a classic trick. That's another reason why I don't like Apple, because everything's all proprietary, so it's like, you can't, there's no like, what's the cheaper option? It's like, no, this is the only option you have. Oh no, what did I call that last thing? Mouth roller, mouth roll upper. You're doing pink. And this is mouth shrug lower. Okay, what does mouth shrug lower look like? It's the bottom lips go up and rotate. I was kind of prepared for like, this is probably going to be a slightly boring stream, so I'm glad you guys are chatting with me, because this is like, it's good. I was trying to see if I could get this done before the stream so that I could take some of this boring stuff out of it, but I really had to invest a lot of time into getting that script set up and working and make sure that that was all making sense. And then I had a bunch of other complicated things I was trying to solve as well, so I was like, oh well, we'll just talk about the face shapes as we go through it. Okay, next one is mouth shrug upper. One says, not at all, man, just keep going. Alright, thanks. Appreciate the vote of confidence. Mouth shrug upper. Alright, what do we got here? Whoa, it's actually moving the lip right up off this default spot. I wasn't really doing that with the other one. May have the intention of what this pose is for wrong. We'll see. Okay, so we'll do that one, and then better save it. Submit it into Perforce. sure we have a backup here. So this week we got some Unreal content added to the, well, we're getting students included into the open department Unreal development channel, which is something that we were talking about doing previously anyways. But we actually did it last weekend. So all of Foundations and Intro to Animation are now in the Unreal Development open department channel who are active, and we'll get it so that all the active students who are in modeling and animation and stuff are all going to be in there. But at the moment, I just created some content. I mentioned it a little bit last week about how we were I was making content using this character, in fact, because it was part of the original stream. And so that content is now, we figured out where we're going to put it in the week and got it laid out and set up. So there's 2 weeks ready for animation, and one of the weeks is how to install Unreal, which is critical, obviously. And so we're going to use that for the modeling as well, which will allow us to share the content over twice. And then so we'll slowly but surely get all this content in there for everyone who is taking whatever course they want, like whatever the other courses are. Even if it's not related to Unreal, we still have this supplementary content for Unreal, and allow everybody to slowly start learning how to use it, and do it in a way that's kind of simple and fun and related to what their actual content that they're trying to create is, so that they can get exposure and start the learning curve, I guess. And then as they go through the advanced courses, we'll just keep throwing in more and more content. So it's going to be a bit of a slow process, but I think immediately we can get everybody in those channels and talking and asking questions. And we have these open sessions every Tuesday currently, that, you know, everybody's invited to come in and join and talk and ask questions that they're having problems with. And then as we get more demand, we can add more open sessions with like people that are more focused in certain areas, and start really expanding that so that we have a lot of free education that's available to people that want to learn more about Unreal and are enrolled in another course. Alright, what am I trying to do? I want to create a bookmark. That's what I'm trying to do. And I want to call it Mouth Press Left. And we're going to make it green. So look at this, Mouth Press Left. See, that looks so much like the other one. Oh, Sean says, sweet, can't wait for it. All right, yeah. Yeah, for sure. I can't wait for it too. I'm really trying to push it to get through. It was like, everybody's like, yeah, we should do it. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna do it this time. Let's go, make it happen. Because every, week that goes by, it's a missed opportunity for people to learn. And so just trying to see if we can get, we'll just start getting the people in the channel at least, and then content will come over time. So yeah, look at this weird, I swear we just did this one. So mouth press left, so that means the lips must be tightening somehow. I don't know, too vague, I think, personally. Sometimes when you get too many of these subtle targets, it's like if you don't have a good description of what the subtlety is for, you don't really have doesn't make it look better. It just actually makes it look worse. You got too much noise stuff going on. So I'm gonna try and assume that it's like a little bit of a pressed on the lips, but in the way that causes the right side to compress and rise a little bit. But I think the emphasis is really just getting those lips to press together. So we'll see if we can get this to be like rotated in. And then I'll just mirror this over to the other side when I'm ready. That should be kind of a quicker process. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. What am I doing here? Why do we have that weird, like, invalid controller right there? It's confusing. Can't select it, so makes it really hard for me to get rid of it. Alright, so I'll taper that out so that it doesn't seem so sharp of a contrast. Let's see here. Alright, let's see what that looks like. Kind of looks like it's compressing. Yeah, I wonder if there's like, if you're going to do it on left and right, does that mean that the center channels also share a bit of that influence? Probably. Because then when you combine them together, you'll get like an even looking compression. It's very tricky to get that to work. Because it's like, it's going to double up as they add together. But we'll just put a little bit in there like that. So let's use our scripts again. First of all, I'll just grab my controls that I manipulated. Oh, you know what I'm forgetting to do on all of my last targets was do anything with the face, so I regret missing that one. Let's just make sure we throw in some actions here. So compression, probably bring this up a little bit, bring the cheek up a little bit. That up. I mean, what I'm really looking for here is just making it so that it's moving, right? Like any kind of movement is better than no movement. It just helps keep things alive. Don't want to go too far with it, but just that subtle bit really make a difference. I feel like I've lost my default poses here. I went on the wrong side of that frame. Grab another one from the start frame, middle mouse click, and create that key. Put another key. Dave says it's a smirk. Oh, sorry, I'm probably reading that like 3 hours after it happened. But you're just saying that this pose looks like a smirk. Oh, it's press left. Smirk. Yeah, I mean it could be. Sure. I have a lot of facial adjustment happening there. It's happening on this pose? Yeah, it is. That's weird. I copied it over. Alright, never mind. We're just going to start again. So I'll do it again over here where I actually have the target. And we'll just re-add that movement and then copy it over top of the previous key or the next key. And try to be a little more subtle, though it seemed a bit rough. Alright, so we'll take those poses that I've changed, minimalist click drag, so that they stay the same place for 2 frames. And then we want to mirror them over. So on the new frame, I'm going to mirror the lips and mirror the face. And then we select half of the face that we want to zero out and zero those out. So hopefully we have left and then the right. Yeah, it's working. Mouth pressed left, and then this is mouth pressed right. Oh, no, pressed. Press right. And we are dark green. Okay, done. Moving on. Mouth press left, mouth press right. How many more do we have? Only just a few more, and then we do the brows. Might not be too hard. Lower down left. Okay. So we're gonna do this twice. This one does come up quite easily, but like again, I swear we did this one already. Alyssa, welcome. Sorry, does John teach in game art course? John. Game art. There's two questions here. John, which John? We have a lot of Johns. What's the last name, John? I don't know if we have that many. We have a John Williams, but he's a game design mentor, so... Who else am I thinking that I might be forgetting about? Yeah, see? Another person who can't recall anyone named John. And by game art, what does that mean? We're talking about concept, animation, modeling, VFX, compositing. Alright, so bring the lips down. Looks like it actually brings the middle lip down as well. It's interesting. And see, there's a huge difference between if I go exaggerated with these poses or not, and I don't know what is going to work better. The stylized character, he might actually work quite well with exaggeration, but might also make things look unnecessarily out of character. Say. So, I don't know. It's kind of, and this is where we went down this whole road of like, let's make exaggerated poses and subtle poses, and then you have kind of a combination. Or you could just do a subtle pose and then exaggerate it, and that would get you your, like, go past the 1 mark, which would give you like an exaggerated version of a subtle pose. But it doesn't always work perfectly, because sometimes that exaggeration will create, you know, you got a rotation, and then you exaggerate that rotation, it'll just keep twisting it into this strange pose that doesn't really match with what you were hoping for. Alright, we'll go with that. And we'll tweak it as we go. Create a more nicer arc there. So again, grab all of our controllers, copy them. Oh, I better label this first. This one is called mouth lower down left for brown. Yeah, so grab all these, copy paste it over, hit S. Then what do we do here? We want to copy them to the left, copy the face poses. Oh, I didn't do anything for the face poses. That was actually kind of important. Yeah, no, I better do it here. These joints may not be skinned to anything worth like, yeah, I know they do have some skinny influence, so yeah, it's all good. Put some really subtle motion in here. Okay, this middle one shouldn't go very far because it's going to get doubled up as you do both sides. Just do a little bit. Alright, so grab these again. Copy them over. Hit S. Now I do the mirror of the face, mirror of the lips, and then the face. And then we select the left side and we zero it out. And it looks like these middle ones are ignored, so I gotta make sure I do a manual tweak here. And then we have left and right. Okay, that one joint didn't matter at all. Ooh. This one, copy over S. Now, you become that. Copy. There we go. Now you zero out. There we go. And what else are we going? We're going to call this mouth lower down right. Wait. All right, we're on frame 200. Mouth upper left. Man, like I swear we've done these like 1,000 times. I hope I don't find out at the end it's like, you don't have to do like this one and this one and this one and this one because they're just redundant. It's like, ah. Go 5, 210, 215. Okay. Or save it again. Zoom back up here. It is better to see the wireframe. It is actually really helping. Now what? Brown, brown. Oh, make the bookmark first. Mouth upper up left. Upper up. I'll make this one red. Okay, so this goes up. It's important that I'm using like the local coordinates when I'm moving them, so set to object rather, because they've carefully made the joints all in a way that it's oriented in a way that they move naturally to the muscle pull direction, or at least, you know, that's how you're supposed to do it, so that when you do move it in object mode, you should be getting kind of the natural, correct natural direction. And even if it's not 100% perfect, it definitely is better than if you try to do it in world mode, where you're gonna get like, you're gonna find out afterwards that like the jaw is, the lip is like poking way out or sunken way into the lips, and you'll see the teeth coming through and everything. Although this character doesn't have any teeth, but usually one of the symptoms of problems you find out later on. You're like, oh shoot, teeth. In fact, you'll see that a lot when you get into like the mouth open, because the mouth open really stretches the whole face out. So if you start combining like multiple targets together, and mouth open is like one of them, all of a sudden like the lips will start, you really see like subtle mistakes, and lips will start popping through the teeth, and you'll start getting like lots of weird deformation because that mouth open is very significant. Okay, let's see if we can get some natural movement here. I don't know if that's really gonna sink in. Like the snarl pose. Danny! Where did we get the rig? Okay, so if this is a Figgins rig, and in CG Spectrum we actually have the rigs in the rig directory. I'm not sure which to show you first. Let's start with the website. So Figgins, because I got it here. This is the website where all these rigs are coming from. There he is. He, I think he costs like $30, $40. And then on our Canvas page, we go to animation. I mean, this is open to every student, I think, but I'll have to remember where I can find it. Anyway, so Intro to 3D Animation. In the very initial homepage, we have a link to the animation library rig where we have rigs, and in here is which one is it? Advanced Body Rig Mechanics? Yeah. So in here we have all those rigs that we've purchased. One of them is Skull Chaser. Let's just take my word for it. Come on. Missed it. There it is. Boom. Alright, what am I missing here? Not every student, says Dave, with a sad, cryy face. Sarah says, yeah, I don't have access to that. I think I have a link somewhere. Files, not sure. Well, let me just hold on a sec. I think we may be able to do this. Unless, yeah, because I think it's just an open shared folder. Oh my goodness, I just want to get to Slack here. I've got this pinned on top of everything. All right, so library, 3D animation. Do we have the rigs in here? Now, oh, there's some amazing rigs got posted here, by the way. I mean, it's a combination of other free rigs that were available from previous posts. But this one's awesome. I don't know how many of these are free, but I think they all are free actually, because there's a section at the bottom that talks about paid or rigs that cost money. Some of these are from familiar websites that I've recognized. They're not all from the same person or anything. Where is it? I thought I saw something that was like, these are paid rigs down here. Maybe they are different than I expected. Oh, it is paid rigs. Can't read it, but that's what it says there. So I think down here, or maybe in this section. Anyways, if I'm wrong, I'll, sorry. Sorry for misleading you. But anyway, there's an amazing amount of rigs. It's not even what I'm here for. So let's go back for a sec. Dave says, concentrate on the stream. No need to do it now. We can troubleshoot it. That's awesome. No, I'm actually just doing it because there's I swear we put the link in here. And if we didn't, then I'm gonna look into it later on. Yeah, that's weird. I thought we put it in here. Okay, well, I'll put that on my list of things to figure out. Because I'm pretty sure you guys have access to it. And we'll just have to, like, make sure it's available. Because we bought it for the whole school. Dave says, too bad there isn't a single source to get information like this, eh? Yeah, that's like a winky face. This is definitely a conversation that we're trying to sort out. I recognize some of those rigs. A lot of them are free, I think. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I recognize a few of them too, but there's some good ones in there that are like Disney-based characters and stuff that I'm like, oh, that's cool. Probably like, I would assume they're not from Disney per se. They're just like somebody who made it and did the best they can to make it work like a Disney character. But that's still really cool. I mean, to be fair, there's that like Woody rig, and I've seen the Woody rig around so much, and the Buzz Lightyear one, and like they're showing up on everybody's demo reels lately. Everybody's doing like test animations with them. All right. Then we got the right sneer, and then I'm gonna make the left sneer. So we take this and the mouse click S. Sean says, I know, right? It's almost everywhere, those Pixar rigs. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's kind of neat that everybody's having fun giving it a try. But it does make you more invisible if your reel has one of those rigs. Okay, mirror and select half of it and zero it out, then manually tweak the center joint. We're done. Okay, and then we have to bookmark that one. Mouth, upper, up, left. Oh, wait, no, it's right. Right. We're using red. Okay, now what's next? There it is. Those are the last of the Fate mouth ones. Now we go to the brow. It's so subtle. Now the brow one's interesting because it's very tempting to do like a brow down where you got like this brow that like overlaps deeply, but realistically we can't really bring our brows down that far. But it's a cartoon character, so maybe the rules aren't quite as clear cut. This is a good time to save it and submit it to Perforce though, because just finished a big section there. Oh, speaking of Perforce, we managed to get our server upgrade for SVN. So yay for nerdiness. So we can do syncs faster now. So we're one step closer to having a pipeline ready for doing group projects and having a place to do Unreal projects together. And Dave's been doing some work on setting up so it's easier for admin to give out keys for students and stuff. So we got to test that out when I get a free minute. And yeah, so that's cool news. Okay, hold on a second. Updating to all face poses. Sarah says, found the box link to CGS rigs. Sending to you on Slack, Simon. Okay, thanks. I mean, it's the link I didn't need to worry about too much, but I appreciate that you're doing it anyway. It's more like the access. It's more like just posting it up on the channel. I mean, that's all it is. It's not that secretive. I feel like we've had this conversation before in one of the other streams. I must have... Anyways, whatever. Now that Sarah sent me a post, hopefully I don't forget. Anim backdrops, face poses. We've done that part. This is my multitasking brain not working very well. Now we're doing eyebrow movements here. Create a new one called brow down left. Green. Thought everything had to be secret, says Danny. Well, I don't think this is one of those. If it comes to like course video content, then yeah, it does have to be secret because we've custom created that. That's what students pay for, so don't want to like accidentally release it for free. But to be fair, the mentoring is really where the value is. And these are just rigs that we purchased from webpage. So as long as you're a student, which you would have to be if you were able to access Slack, then I don't see any reason why you don't qualify to have access to it any more than the rest of us. But really, I guess the only reason why we did it in the first place like that was because we didn't think anybody else would want it. Because it's like, it's an animation rig. Why would a game designer care? But I know game designers do care, and they would want one. But that's just probably the only reason why we haven't sent it off. More of a larger sense. Sarah says, all CGS mentors I have had teach me have been awesome and amazing, and I can only praise them. Wow, that was positive. Thank you, Sarah, for sharing that for CGS's behalf. Yeah, I really think that it's where the value of the school is, and I think we're really trying to make sure that we emphasize that as we go forward too, making sure we get really quality mentors and experts in their fields of the different directions, especially as we start tapering into newer technologies and like virtual production, that kind of stuff. We really want to make sure that the people that are teaching it or the people that you're talking to about it are really like very knowledgeable with the latest that's happening in that technology. And it really helps justify the whole thing. Let's see if I can put a little bit of subtle stuff in here. Sarah says, I have my last classes this trimester. Oh yeah, that's right, you're right at the end now. Feature animation with Mark. Mark Pullyblank, that is correct. It's the only Mark we have in animation. Or I think I don't know, maybe all? I don't know. I don't remember any other Marks, but maybe I'm just forgetting. Sarah has been taught by Mark quite a few times, I would say. Enough times that she knows him pretty well. Danny says, he was my professor at Cal State Chicago. Chico. Awesome guy. All right. Yeah, I don't know if he still teaches there now or not. I can't remember. But he's like definitely has quite a lot of intakes with CG Spectrum, and he's the one that has done a lot of the content too. Most of the content actually for animation. Do you guys share a birthday? Ow. How come I never knew that? figured you would have told me this by now. Over the years. Maybe you did, and maybe I just forgot. This is always possible. I always forget things, so it's never... Can't rule that out. I think this pose is done. It's not super strong, but I don't really know what side of the brow down we're supposed to be doing here, so I'm just going to go with this. And then we take the pose... Oh wait, no, I've forgotten some up here. There's these guys up here. Alright, we'll go with that. Take the poses, copy them over, hit S. Mirror only, I only need to do the face this time. And then select the other half, zero it out. Right, got that one in there now. All this brow down right. And that is the color of, what was it, green? Good. Right, I gotta make some more poses. Sean says, dang, that's rare. Actually, it's surprising. I read it somewhere that it's not that rare. I mean, I don't want to take the specialty out of Sarah from Sarah here. We didn't know either until a year after my first year at CGS. Right. Well, I guess eventually you're going to be like, hey, it's my birthday. And then it's like, hey, it's my birthday. So you'll figure it out. But apparently, if you ever find out the odds of having the same birthday as someone else is very high. Like, amazingly high. I don't know, it's just, you've got 1 in 365 chances, but it's actually like, if you break it down, that's a lot easier to do than you realize. Somehow. I don't know what the theory was there. But like, if you're in a room, you have a very good chance that somebody else in that room has the same birthday as you. But it's just like, what? But apparently that's just mathematically how it works. But yes, I'm totally ruining Sarah's story here. Sorry. I shouldn't make that announcement right afterwards. My birthday's on December 24th, so I don't think anybody else was born on December 24th. Pretty sure I'm the only one. Oh, wait, what do we got here? Sean says, it's true, I had a dude in my class that had the same birthday as me. Yeah, there you go. Your class of, like, whatever, 30 people or whatever. Sarah says, my best friend's dad also shares a B-day with me and Mark, and we all have a weird sense of humor. There you go. Riz, my birthday is on June 17th. Who else has a birthday on June 17th? Maybe somebody here. Sean, it kind of felt bad because a lot of the guys would celebrate mine and wish me happy birthday over the other guy. That's brutal. Yeah, I can see that happening though. The awkwardness of it all. We're going to the next pose here. That's what I'm doing. Wait, yeah, no, I got that in there. Oh, I was gonna make a new target. Darn. See what I'm doing here. It's getting harder and harder. I'm so far away from my first pose. I really just need to make a whole bunch of these things. 30. 40. 45. Oops, missed one. 35. There we go. 250. Alright, what do we got here? Sarah says, I'm close to June 17th, but I best not disclose too much. Yeah, because you're disclosing 3 people's birthdays if you do. Riz says, can you make a sky in Maya? Interesting question. And status active. Hello. Is this a rigging stream? It can be considered a rigging stream. I do a lot of technical stuff. But it technically is supposed to be able to Unreal. And eventually what we're doing is we're creating facial poses for Unreal facial, like real-time facial capturing with hopefully this iPad thingy. Which I just got last week. So we're working our way to that. So it's supposed to be an Unreal stream and we're supposed to be talking about Unreal, but you know, you gotta work in Maya when you're working in Unreal too, so that's how it goes. But I do a fair bit of rigging too, or try to anyways, and so yeah, sure. And Sean says, best not, as Bill Burr once said, there's a lot of psychos out there. Yes, and they find out what your birthday is. You never know what's gonna happen. Dave says, is iPad thingy the technical term? Yes. Pretty sure I read that in the documentation. It's like, this is a sophisticated iPad thingy, and we're gonna use it to do sophisticated things. Oh, and to make a sky in Maya, Riz, it's there's a I'll just show you. I think I can show you quickly here. If you're using Arnold, for example, you can create a light that is a physical sky. Actually, I would probably use a sky dome light. That's a simpler version of it, and that's going to build a sphere that has that you can put any kind of texture on it. And so if you search for HDMIs, HDRIs. You can put in a sky, a free, find a sky texture that fits well for it. And it can be your light source as well as your texture source. These are not what I expected to see here. Where's the HDRIs? Here they are. So this could be your sky. I don't really want to do it right now because they'll just be created in here. Can you render a sky in Maya? So then, yeah, that would actually allow you to render it and plus light your scene with the sky as well. It's actually quite nice. Sean says HDRI baby. HDRI Haven. That place is awesome. Yeah, all that stuff I just showed you was pretty much free. I think, unless you want the uber high res maybe, but you can definitely get the resolution that you're looking for. Maybe if I just open up another Maya. Get back to that question. Just don't want to like end up going, oh, why have I added this thing I can't get rid of anymore? Or what's all this stuff in my stuff that I added by mistake? Let's see here, left, right, and oh, that's right. I was gonna switch to the next thing. So we're brow down left, brow down right, brow inner up. How many do we have to do here? Not too many. We should be able to get through it. What are we at? 8 to 20. So I got about 30 minutes. Brow inner up. Oh, inner up. I see. So this is the center. This is like the worst. They should have put the wireframe on this image so that you could see the changes a bit easier. Lightwaves has a major flaw in it, as the program, or some major flaws in it, as the program will not let you render a scene. Whoa, that can't be right. Really? I thought Lightwave, the whole thing was it was like a high-end rendering device once upon a time and back in the day. Or maybe you have to pay for like the rendering ability. That would be normal actually. They put like a watermark on or something. They actually do that with a little bit with Arnold as well, if you use the batch rendering. All right, Riz, this is for you here. We got Arnold. We go lights, Skydome light, builds this big sphere thingy. We go to the detail, or sorry, the attribute editor for it, color. We're gonna change the color for it, and then you can go. And you can add, there's one called 3D sphere. No, sphere, environment sphere. So if you attach that first, it'll map it out in a way that is appropriate for like an environment. And then you have an image, and in here, you map in the, it's just a regular texture. So a file. And you put in that one of the things you downloaded from the HDR website. And then apparently closed, and you put it in there. So one of the things is when you render it, you will always see the environment in your scene. And there's a very interesting channel here for visibility. If you turn off camera, that makes it so that you can't see the environment, and that way you get a nice clean full cutout of your mesh. But it's still going to render it with the lighting created from this spherical light source of your HDRI. And then if you turn it on, then you can also see the environment as well if you wanted to. But it'll still, even with it off, it'll still use the reflection data and all the stuff as if it's inside of that environment. There you go. And back to what I was doing. So middle. Controller here. Uh-oh. My Maya's frozen. That's always good. It's gonna make me really upset here. Oh, wait, what was that? That looked important. How do I go back to that again? Oh man, what have I done? There's a window of being able to change the bookmark. I think I was stuck in that mode. Riz says, no, we have bought the program from a new tech before, and they sold the program to Vizert. Vizert is in Norway. Oh, okay. My iPad just recognized that I was trying to ask them stuff, and now I'm recording that I'm asking this. And I actually really don't know how to get this window over here open. This is not good right now. I am like stuck. I saw it for a second, and I was like, that's it, that's what I need. I'm really like desperately trying to, I can see the Maya window down here. I know what I need to open. It won't let me open it. Maybe if I can like, I'm gonna do like some serious desperate moves here. It's possible that what's happened is I just like Storm, hey, welcome. As you can see me struggling, that's great. I'm in a great state right now. Glad the streams are back up. Hey, I'm glad you made it. Looks like fun. Did I hear correct that you are rigging this to map to an iPad program? That's right. Well, to it's just going to Unreal, and then in Unreal we have there's a way to stream in the facial capturing data from the iPad and any iPhone that's like within the last 2 versions. You can stream in this data as targets, and so the targets are going to be I'm creating right now based on one of the web pages. They tell you how to do it, you know, which it's part of the AR kit, and they tell you what the targets that they need are and what they're called, and then you just put it in there, and the data that's streaming from the iPad into Unreal is going to play these targets in sequence to match the video that it's capturing of your face, and it ends up with pretty good data. Really, it's just basically like using Snapchat or something, which is a very cool app for a 5-year-old, by the way. Aside from the fact that they're not using it to chat, but they're using it to play with, which is all I'm using it for. I'm gonna have to bail on this Maya file. Sorry, Riz, but I really regret showing you how to do that thing. It's oh, here it is. There, that's what I want. How do I do that? Let's go do that again. See, look, I'm in the middle of typing that thing. I just have to click it. Why are you doing this to me, Maya? How do I go there? Oh, Maya, that's right. It's like it's so close to being fixable. I just can't click the menu because it's behind the window or something. And I can see it when I mouse over the window. It's right there. I just need to like do something with it. Darn it. Alright. We're gonna close it. Note to self, don't leave a half-finished bookmark creation window open, or you will kick yourself. Don't really know the last time it's saved. Darn it. Alright, there it goes. We're gonna have to redo some stuff. We're gonna have to really like kick it in high gear here. I was on track to actually getting this finished before the end of the stream. And I was like, I can do this. I have saved it fairly recently, but I don't know. I'm gonna be disappointed if I lose anything, so not a good sign. Got our browse in there. Oh, we were dead this last one. Alright, so maybe I did save it just before I did this, so we're okay. The Lords of Autodesk have decided. Yeah, they have. It's so true. They're like, no, you must stop now. Oh well. That's actually pretty good. I think I saved it before I showed Riz how to do that thing, so I'm okay. I'm just frustrated that that ended up being such a dumb way to end it. Alright, here we go. We're going to try to do the middle row up, and I'm just going to focus on the one side, I guess. I'll mirror it. And I want to make sure I don't forget about these guys. So yeah, this is the Kyle Figgins rig that was created, or yeah, it was made by him and bought by him. So all I'm doing is really just creating the face poses for it. I'm not actually doing any actual rigging, which is kind of funny because this is what I would do most of the time anyways at Rocksteady, was creating poses rather than actual doing rigging. There was other guys that were hired that would do the rigging part. They were like literally called riggers. All I was just, my whole job was to make the face animations look good. well, that was one of my main jobs. John says, I feel your pain. Yeah. Yeah, it's the unpredictable with Amaya sometimes. You just don't know what you're going to get next. It hasn't crashed very much recently, though. I must appreciate that. Of course, yeah, I'm saying it. I'm doomed, you know. It's definitely going to crash. But it... there was a time where I was doing, like intake classes and stuff, and it was just like crash, crash, crash. Like, it would just be so ridiculous. And then... But recently, it's been a long time since I've had a crash. And I'm still using the same rigs and same things, so... I'm not really sure what changed there, but... Definitely got better in the last little while. Brow, inner, up. Yeah, I'm almost gonna click away and then I'm in the middle of this mode again. Alright. Brow, inner, up, and then I'm just gonna take that and mirror it over. So that it should be the same on both sides. And there's our brow, inner, up. Also very, very subtle, but really, like, I don't know, the brow interrupt usually does move pretty far, I think. Depends on how you do it, though. But it's easy to go too far with this stuff for sure. So, and also you can technically exaggerate it within the thing, but I will just bring it up a little bit more. And I'm totally cool with like going for an exaggerated state if this character fits well with that. I'll have to go back to the comics and see what they're kind of coming off looking like. But I don't really want to put myself in a state where I have to be like, oh, that was too far. Because subtlety usually does work better than exaggeration. Status Active says, what tools are used for face posing, sculpting, soft selection, pulling vertexes, one by one? This is my first time watching you work. The tools I'm using is bones and joints because this is a joint-based face rig. What you're talking about is blend shapes, which are, you're right, you're either using sculpting tools or soft selections and pulling verts. You can be doing this in Maya, but there's also people who, like in ZBrush, will do the actual work in a sculpt, and they're experts in knowing how to do facial posing for targets, and then they have to like bring those out. But that would be like if it's a giant monster and you've got like crazy details that are happening when you move the face poses around. But often what you'll see is people will do it in Maya, and they'll just create duplicates and soft select, move around and that kind of thing, and build the face. You really have to be comfortable with face anatomy when you're doing that, though, because you're really under, you're following these rules of like where the muscle's pulling, how it bulges out, all that stuff. And it gets a little tricky as you're trying to like mirror from left to right, as we just are trying to do with the joints, which are a little easier, I think. And what was the other thing? Oh, and if you try to like, if you have multiple characters, then you have to take those blend shapes and like duplicate them across to the other blend shape, the other character meshes, which is really tricky. And there's ways to do it, but it's not as simple as with joints where you're actually just looking at positional data of one joint. It's like each, you have to do like a wrap thing, and it gets tricky. So there's lots of complexity with doing face posing if you're thinking from a pipeline perspective. Sarah says, I had Unreal crash when I enabled ray tracing. Yeah, that's true. Well, you may not even have crashed, but you may just be like taking 300 years to load. Every time I turn on ray tracing, it's like, oh, we must recompile the entire Unreal Engine, and it's like on my computer, it just sits there and loads like crazy forever. But if your computer maybe isn't able to handle that much processing at one go, maybe it died. John says, I save my files religiously at this point. Dude, I ended up transferring that habit over to single player games as well. Yeah, interesting. That's probably quite useful. And not only saving it religiously, but saving it in multiple files, because Or if you have source control, you just save it source control. But because sometimes it'll like crash when it's saving, and then you corrupt the only saved version that you have, and then you're really screwed. And then it's not like, oh, I just have to go back to my previous version. It's like, no, you have to start from scratch. So always try to make sure you have increments or some sort of form of multiple versions so that you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. Same for video or for games, single player games too. You want to, I've definitely, like, I've heard stories like Skyrim and stuff. People are like, my save corrupted, and they've put like hundreds of hours into it already. Status active. Ray tracing is the future, they said. Yeah, sure, yeah. It's the future for people that buy computers that are really super future fast. It does have a lot of cool features. It will be a very useful thing, especially when it comes to virtual production. But yeah, it's like, it's pretty hard to use right now. Storm, increment and save. There you are. Yeah, that's right. Increment and save is a feature right there. Increment and save. Sean says, I know, right? I always hold my breath when that happens. Yeah, exactly. Increment save is a must. Restream, it's existed since forever. And then there's also autosave. Also highly recommended. I mean, you guys already know this, but how many times have I had students go, oh, I lost my file, how do I get it back? And so in files, it's default turned off, so you turn it on, and whatever the increment numbers are, it's always good to have that on as well. It could really save your butt. Okay, brow up. Jeez, I'm so not gonna get. I got 15 minutes. I maybe I'll get some more done here. We got stretch, mouth roll. Wow, why am I so way high up here? Brow down, left, right. Brow inner up. Brow outer up, left. Brow outer up, left. Outer up, left. It is so subtle. Like, you can't even tell in that picture that there's a change. Okay, so let me put that bookmark in right away. Brow outer up left. Purple. So I think we're just talking about this out here. Probably can utilize this one. Definitely bring this up as well. Got a little bit of that. Pulls the skin up. Heck is this back here? I don't know. Definitely gonna bring this up. This is where the muscles are pulling from. Maybe a little bit of influence there. See what that looks like. A little bit much. John says, thankfully I lost my file only once when I was in a class with Mark. It was a blocking scene, but it was bamboozled. It bamboozled me so hard that when that happened, I had a steady streak of 0 corrupt files only for it to fail that one time. I think I read that wrong because that didn't make any sense. It was a blocking scene. But it was bamboozled me so hard that when it happened. Oh, I see. When you lost it, I get it. Had a steady streak of 0 corruptions before that. Yeah, that's what happens. You get complacent. It happens to me all the time. I'm like, yeah, and then you just forget. Oh yeah, you're supposed to save every once in a while, and then all of a sudden you get caught off guard, and it's like, oh shoot, I haven't saved it. How many years have I been making this mistake? Alright, so we got the left here, so we should be able to switch it over to the right pretty easily. I'm just going to grab these, almost click S, use our fancy switcheroo, then we select the left and zero it out. And then we're going to label this the opposite. Brow, outer, up, right, purple. Okay, so we got left, right. Status active. We all make mistakes in the heat of passion. Jimbo. Is that a quote? Yeah, no, it's totally true though. Here we go. What do we got? Upper, outer, up, left, outer, up, right. Cheek puff. Oh, we got the cheek puff now. Oh, both cheeks are at once. I guess that makes sense. How often do you like blow one cheek out, not the other? John, it's so frustrating when it happens. Also, yeah, that earlier sentence was so messy. Vocabulary.exe not found. I'm gonna blame it on that all-nighter. All good, all good. There's no undo on this when you do a comment on stream. It's funny, you're so used to it on Slack, being able to change your messages, that when I write an email and I forget to proofread it, and then I'm like, oh, I'll just edit it. I'm like, oh shoot, no, this is email. I can't edit my message. So then I have all these spelling mistakes and stuff, and I'm like, ah, shoot. Alright, so this is cheek puff. Alright, I wonder if there's going to be controls for cheek puffs, because it's like there's no cheeks. John says, kills me inside. Yeah, it's permanently there forever. You've written bad grammar in a forever state on the internet. Alright, this might be our cheek control here. Good thing is, whatever I do here, I just have to click the mirror button. I don't have to make two keys for it or anything. I don't know if this is going to be a very good cheek puff. I guess it kind of is. Let's try to do a little bit of a pull here, as if his cheeks are being puffed out. And a little bit here. This gets dragged in. Probably should bring these guys out as well. Kind of go with the flow on that one. I think I'm doing this in world. When did I switch that? I thought I was local there. Oh, because I probably reopened Maya. There we go. Move that out a little bit. This out a little bit less. Okay. Oh, I got a bit of a contrast here. This one goes in and that one goes out. I'll just zero that out for a sec. Alright, we'll just go with that. And then I just have to hit the mirror button. We get the other cheek in there. We're ready to do the next one. Status active. We artists pay God for it. We make a skeleton puff its non-existent cheeks on plastic lightning powered boxes. Is that a satire on the last comment we made? Because that was a really difficult sentence. We artists play God for it. We make a skeleton puff. Oh, because we're making a skeleton puff his cheeks. Non-existent cheeks. Yeah. Plastic lightning powered boxes. What does that mean? Plastic lightning powered boxes? I don't even know what to say. I got your point though, so it did come across. Alright. 240. What's this one called? This one's called Cheek Squint Left. Look at it again. Oh, we're doing the squints. These are good. Finally, we're getting the useful targets here. I really don't understand how all those like mouth ones are gonna work out. It's just, I've never really approached it that way before. It just seemed like we had so many of the same targets over and over again. Usually you kind of hit some phonemes in there so that you've got some phonemes to base it off of. So so that you can like at least say, okay, this is a bit of an R, and this is so you kind of have a focus of what you're trying to achieve. But just saying like stretch back, pull, front, oh, like I don't know, what are we doing? It might work out great. I don't know. I might be totally on the wrong path on that one. Alright, so this one I have to do the squint. So bring the cheeks up a little bit. Oh, yeah, this is going to be hilarious. So all these controllers by the eyes, by the way, have absolutely no, well, very little influence. So they really, well, that's the eyeball, but there's not really any reason for me to modify that one. So the cheek squint is really just going to be like this, maybe this, and that a little bit. And maybe this, pull that up on that one more. What does that look like? I'm not really sure because he doesn't have eyelids and all that stuff. It's like, if I make it too much, is that gonna look weird because his cheek is like totally shifting a lot here? And how is that in relation to all the other poses I've done? Don't know. I just know that this particular pose is really helpful. Like it really helps portray a lot of emotion, and it's part of your smiles and part of your like grimaces, and basically you could just use that one thing and you'd get so much expression across it. Got 5 minutes. Sean, oh no, I'm spreading the dumb grammar disease. I should have worn a mask. That's funny. Yeah, I'm just lucky I don't have to write anything. I just have to say it. Alright, so we're trying to do a little bit of skin pull so that there's sort of this natural element, which I think is really the key to getting good targets. It's just considering all the flex that's going to happen with the rest of the body when you do actually make a movement like that. And I know it's not really what the target says it is, but I think that really does help make these things sell. And when you see them all together, just everything just kind of moves a lot more naturally this way. Because realistically, if you were to just try and do that one pose with your muscles, these other part of your body is going to move too. I mean, you can't not have a little bit of flex and movement if you try to use that muscle. So it's just how it works. But you do have to be really subtle about it. Like, I think I may have gone a little too far on that one. It's starting to look like a different expression. Okay, so we got that one. Now we're gonna do the other side of the squint, I assume. So grab it, copy it, S, and these are all face joints, so I can just use the face mirror. And then, interesting how that worked out. And then grab the other half and zero these out. Now we have both poses. You can really see how a script makes a huge difference. Like, it seems like, oh man, you wasted all that time making that script. But I mean, this is like so much faster. And the fact that I'm just doing this the first time, like I'm also going to come back and do fixes and have to do it again. It's just so worth it to invest that time. And in certain scenarios, it really does make sense. Other times, and this has happened to me many times, you spend a lot of time making a script and then you used it like 5 times and you're like, probably didn't need to make a script on this one. Probably would have been faster just to do it manually. But that's how it goes. That's the learning lesson, I suppose. Trying to find that balance of, is this worth making or is it not worth making? But you know, there's an argument that he said, like, yeah, it took me maybe too long to make the script, but I learned a lot. Like, and so you become knowledgeable of how to make scripts quickly. It gives you a good gauge of how long it takes to make the script. So you can come back and say, okay, is it worth it? At least you have a bit more education about what it'll take to do. Sean, you never know till you try. That's right, exactly. Hey, Kushal, welcome. Hello, are you using blend shapes for facial expressions? No, this is actually, these are joint based. Like this rig was set up with joints, so I'm making the facial expressions with joints. It's actually a really nice setup. This is, and doing joint based facial poses is what I'm familiar with in the industry anyways, so I'm kind of happy that it was that way. But the fact that I'm going to try and get this to run off of the iPad means that I'm probably going to have to do some R&D learning as because I think usually it's done with blend shape targets, not joint based targets, but pretty sure it's possible. Just hopefully it's not that complicated to convert. Running to the last minute here. Status active. Oh, whoa, I'm missing some big messages here. Let me spend some time reading. So I have a theoretical wow, okay, Storm, here we go. So I have a broad theoretical question about this for future application. Okay, let's do it. Let me just transition to my lovely face here. That's a good idea. We'll see. Do you see this being used in full body situations for real-time production and presentation? Yes. Definitely. This is kind of where we're heading, actually. Especially for real-time production. Rather than cleaning up mocap. Oh, okay. Well, that's an interesting question, too. I'm just thinking about it in similar manners to what Adobe Character Animator did with My Cartoon President, now with 3D. I'm not familiar with My Cartoon President, but I assume that they were doing like real-time facial capturing of the facial expressions and stuff. There's another one. There's like there's a kids show made by me and my memory. The Muppets guys. Anyways, and it's done sort of like puppeteering, real-time puppeteering. So they have all these mechanics to do the puppets, and they're all like puppets that control CG characters, but you get like real-time puppeteering, and then you see it as a CG character, and it's actually done in Unreal. It works, but I don't know. It doesn't have that polished feel that proper animation has, and I think the problems that we're going to see when we do this is that we're going to have like some of the jaw isn't going to be perfect. We're going to see some slight uncanny flaws that normally you get polished out of. It's possible that we can come up with some kind of solution, but in this character it's great. He doesn't have teeth. But I know when we did facial mocap, the biggest problem was the fact that you can't see the jaw, you can't measure the jaw, you don't know where it is underneath the skin, and you can make two very specific poses. You can have one where you got your teeth together because you're hitting a T, but then the same looking pose could be just like and you can't see a difference in the capture. So you end up with the same capture, but one of them is specifically saying T, which is clear when you say it, So the animator has to go in there and move the jaw up to make sure that the teeth come together. So that was something that we discovered. So I have a feeling this is going to have that same issue, and it's subtle, but it's important too. And then there's eye direction, which is another complicated issue that I'm not sure how accurate it is, but that's what we're trying to find out, I guess. So, but yeah, I think this is definitely going down the road of a possible production pipeline, especially when you're dealing with like real time. Like if you want this to be in real time, like for like, you know, getting the candidness of something, you could totally do it that way. All right. Crucial says, sorry, I just got here. Status Active says, the best Maya users make infinite scripts. This is obviously from a previous conversation, because they always want to have a script, any possible combinations of commands. That's interesting. Well, I mean, I don't know if it's a theoretical or what, but yeah, definitely infinite scripts library would be amazing. But yeah, you can learn all kinds of problems and solutions when you make tons of scripts. Crucial says, I'm a 3D artist, but I have no knowledge of scripts, and I really should try to learn. Well, if you watched the beginning of this stream, we did talk a little bit about how we did our little script here. So I did cover, and last week we did it where we actually were trying to write it, but I didn't successfully finish it, so I had to finish it offline. But I showed how it works, and it's kind of cool. A little simple script, easily anybody can make. But it was complicated to sort of conceptualize how it was going to work. But anyway, that's good. Sarah has to go. I have to go. Thanks for everybody for showing up. Really appreciate it. And we'll see you again next week as we continue our journey here. Hopefully we'll get to the iPad and we'll start seeing some awesome results. All right, guys. Take care. See you next week.